This conference will now be recorded.
Sure.
Okay, stop recording for now and we'll start at 10:01.
This conference will now be recorded.
This is our first webinar on Google BigQuery and machine learning. I think, Deepra, there is an echo probably. Okay, so, and Vinod, I think it's from you. Yeah, okay. So, sorry, everybody. So let's get started. We are a group of people passionate about artificial intelligence, and therefore we have set up a group known as Artificial Intelligence Syndicate. And we are on Facebook as well as on YouTube, and we will share the details with you all in a few minutes. But let me tell you what this group does. This group is a non-profit organization to start with, where we help people to get started on AI and machine learning, maybe experienced or non-experienced. And you can look us up on LinkedIn and what we do and which company we work for. Right. So this is Naresh Jasotani, and I'm sorry I have issues with my camera, but this is Naresh Jasotani, and I have 16 years of experience in IT, especially around data analytics and AI. Ishmeet.
Thank you, Naresh. Hi, my name is Ishmeet Bindra, and I'm also working in the data analytics space. I have about 13 years of experience from cloud technologies to machine learning, AI, reporting. Deepraj, over to you.
Thank you, Ishmeet, and thank you, Naresh. Good morning and good evening, everyone. I am Deepraj Singh Chauhan, and I have 15 years of experience in big data, database, reporting, ETL, cloud, and machine learning. Over to you, Vinod.
Sure, thank you, Deepraj. Hello, everyone. My name is Vinod. Yeah, I look different in the picture, and now I have over 12 years of experience completely into the space of data warehousing, business intelligence, and AI. So welcome to the webinar, everyone.
Next, Deepraj.
So I'll quickly walk you through the agenda of this webinar. It is more about BigQuery. Of course, we are celebrating 10th birthday of BigQuery. It's been around for 10 years now. It's come a long way. So we are going to see what is Google BigQuery. How do we get started with BigQuery? Especially Google gives $300 of free. There are ways where you have to specify a credit card, but we are going to show you how do you really get hands-on on BigQuery even without using a credit card. Next, we are going to see is how do we do machine learning using simple SQL statements on BigQuery. Another topic would be talking about a little bit on visualizations that can be created for analytics on BigQuery using Google's Data Studio. So what really is BigQuery? Deepraj, can you go to the next slide, please?
Yeah, sure.
So Google's BigQuery for common layman language would be data warehousing or a relational database wherein you can run petabytes of data into milliseconds. It has blazing fast speeds. It is serverless architecture. It's more like a SaaS wherein you don't really have to worry about anything on the infrastructure or taking care of the servers and the operating system and anything of that sort. It is a cost-effective way of doing data warehousing. It is a modernized data warehouse provided by Google. It really has the ability to bring down your ownership cost by about 26 to 34%. If you compare it with other competitors in the market, you really have to pay less. One of the biggest advantage that I have seen in BigQuery is when you run a query for like a second time or a third time, it really doesn't cost you anything. It has great mechanisms like caching, and it stores all the data for you and brings it up without even querying anything. And not to forget, it is a democratized insight. It gives you democratized insight with a trusted and more secure platform, and it is easy to scale with with as and when you need it. Deepraj, can you go to the next slide, please? Yeah, over to you, Ishmeet.
Thank you, Vinod. So we would actually now give you a walkthrough of BigQuery on how we can access it for free. So just to give you guys a heads up, the good news is right now, and this is coming from Google, not from us, BigQuery, you can access it for free till September of 2020, and it's directly coming from Google. So we will now show you how exactly we can access it. In addition to that, you also get a $300 free credit once you sign up for Google Cloud Platform Services. But again, as I mentioned, with BigQuery, you won't be spending even a single dime. BigQuery has to offer a lot of public data sets, so we'll show you how you can access those and you can leverage those. So Deepraj, if you can just take us to this link real quick. The link is mentioned right there.
Yeah. So sorry about that. I have to minimize that just to show you that.
That's fine.
So
as you can see on the Google platform, like you do get the $300 credit once you sign up for that. And the great news there is you can actually sign it up using your Gmail ID. You don't have to create anything else, out of the ordinary. You can actually get it for free. Now, the link that we have provided, once you land up on that page, as you can see on the top, I haven't signed in yet, or I haven't activated my $300 credit, but I'm able to access all the public data set, which I'll be showing you using BigQuery. So this is our BigQuery page, how it looks like, you have a query editor on the left-hand side. You have all of these data sets which are available, and under these are the tables. So data set is nothing. Deepa, if you can just go on the top, if you would see on the public data set.
Hold on, just yeah.
So this BigQuery public data set is nothing like in a typical SQL or Oracle world, what we call defining a database or a schema that we are connecting to. Underneath that, once we click on like Austin 311, it's a data set which this is a particular table which has been created. Now we can start querying these using the query editor. Once you click on the 311 requester, so this is where you would actually see the details of your what is the schema defined for a particular table. You can click on details tab. You can see the details about your table, like what is the data inside it, what is the table size, if there's a partitioning done or not. You'll be able to find all of those details out there. And if you click on preview, that will show you a preview of how the data looks like. Over to you, Deepraj.
Yeah. So thank you, Ishmeet. So let me walk you through some of the components. Because of the time, we have limited time, so I have already completed few things. I want to walk you through what exactly is BigQuery, as Vinod and Ishmeet both have mentioned about. Vinod mentioned that it's kind of a petabyte scale we can query on BigQuery, scalable, and we don't have to practically do provisioning as such. And then, as Ishmeet also mentioned, that we have publicly available data, and that's a big big input from BigQuery, that you are getting that public enabled data you can query on top of that. And the good part is that that data itself is refreshed every day, almost every day. If you will see COVID-19, I will show you, you will see that maybe 22nd of May it got refreshed. It's not like that they have just jumped that. You can assume that near to real-time sort of data. Now coming back to BigQuery, BigQuery is something you can relate. I know I am assuming that most of you are somewhere in your experience, you have gone through that SQL queries and all. So consider that way that it's kind of a SQL query, but it has definitely it has many advantages which we mentioned, and Naresh will give you that ML introduction later on. But before that, I want to walk you through how we need to access this BigQuery. So as Ishmit mentioned that we have BigQuery public data, but now you need to go into that link and you will come here and you will see public data. Now to access that public data, the first step what you need to do is you need to tag that. Just a minute. Yeah. So let me go to other screen. You need to pin this data. Actually, when you will click on BigQuery public data, you can see this pin and unpin. So in the right side, you will see pin. So you need to click that part and you will pin this data set. And then you will go to your project. So here in this part, you are gonna go and create a project. So for this particular demo, I have already created BigQuery project, but if you don't have any project under you assigned, you can go here and you can create a project. And then as you already pinned that public data set, you will be able to see that public data set here. Okay, so now you see this, that under this BigQuery project, you will be able to see BigQuery public data here. Okay, now let me go through some of the query part. And today I'm targeting COVID-19 New York table. So it's kind of a, if let me run through some of the query. Yeah, so the first query, if I will go here, you see here. So this query is coming from BigQuery public data. The table name is COVID-19. Schema name is COVID-19. Table name is US states. So basic difference which I want to tell you here in BigQuery is this BigQuery public data, you think in terms of it's a database, and we see this as a data set. So we know that in SQL we deal with schemas. Instead of that, we say here it's data sets. Inside that data sets, you will find tables. So this time we have used COVID-19 New York .us states is the table. And if I will query this, you saw this, we can see this date wise, state New York, and confirmed cases 1 and deaths 0. So this is all. Now a few more things. If you want to save a query, you can go here and you can save this query in XLS or in some other location. And then you have some of the views option. You need to create a view. You can save it as a view. You can go and schedule the query. If you can go into left side, you can see the history of the query. For example, if I will click here, I will be able to see the history of the query. Okay, now you will see the job histories. Then you will see transfer. So transfer is nothing but it gives you the option of BigQuery data transfer API, where you will go and enable that API. And what it's gonna do is it's gonna do your data transfer from your partner SaaS applications. And if you want to go with the on-prem, then you can do GS util. So that is something that will come in next stages, but this is just a beginning sort of. So this is the basic query which you are doing here. And the important part here is that whenever you are writing some query here, before running also, you will be getting this feature here which says this query will process 167.8 KB when run. So you will get to know that, okay, what is the amount of data you have. This might be useful in terms of doing the analysis that what is the cost is going to be associated with this particular query set. Okay. Now, as we are running this, now I'm gonna use the second query. And what does is this query is doing is, if you see here, I have used format underscore date. So this is the syntax where I'm trying to get month and year from that date column. Just a minute. Now, and remaining columns, and from the same data set. And I have applied filter on New York and Michigan. So let me run this query. Okay. Now, so here what you can see is on March 2020. So this date is all the day wise, and you will see that confirmed cases. Now, if you will try to understand this 2 and this 2 is a cumulative count. It's not like that it is everyday count. What is happening is, for example, on March 10th, there were 2 confirmed cases. And on March 11th, it's 2. It means practically on 11th, there is no cases. Okay. But on March 12th, if you will see here, March 12th is a cumulative, means previous all cases plus the cases on March 12th. So you will see 12. So that is the case. Now, I'm gonna take you to suppose if you want to see that what are the max confirmed cases on that particular month. So how are we gonna access that? Now you see this. So for New York on March 2020, if you'll go into the actual data set, you will see here March 31st, 2020, and the confirmed cases is 7621, which is almost is a cumulative for that particular month for March 2020. Okay, so this way you will see. Now the most important part which I wanted to mention here is that in all the queries, if you will see here, you will see the query completed time is 0.4 seconds for this 116 KB. So it's pretty fast. You can say blazing fast. Okay. Now this is something which I have created. And
sorry,
suppose,
DC Deepraj, just
Yep.
to just to stop here a minute. So people who joined, we have like almost 40 people joining us. So people who joined late, just wanted to let you know that this webinar is going to be available as a recording on our channel AI Syndicate, which Ishmeet is going to talk about in a little bit. And do not worry, we have stepwise details on each step, which Ishmeet, Deepraj, and Vinod have shown till now, and whatever we are going to discuss in the remainder of the course. And if you have questions, please feel free to put it on the chat window. So participants may not be able to talk, but put your questions on the chat. Deepraj, going good. Go ahead.
Yeah. So yeah. So now I'm running a query, but suppose I need every day. Suppose I need to run this query, then obviously we know that we cannot just run every day this query. There should be some way around. For example, creating a view, which we need to run that. But if we have to create a view, we cannot just create that view under BigQuery public data, or we need to define somewhere. Is it? So there comes where we need to do the data set functionality sort of. If we'll go here, I have written BigQuery, and let me explain you that in a minute. So see, we'll see here what this view is doing. It is actually, this is your project which is here, and then that data set. So when you click onto the project, you will get an option of create data set, where you will create a data set which is a data set ID, and then you don't have to do anything, just give the name and you create data set. Because I have already created, so I will not do this step. And then that data set you need to put here, and the table from your public data set you need to keep here. Okay, I mean whatever be the name you want to. What I thought is kind of keeping that BW underscore COVID-19. It's completely up to you what name you want to put here, but it's just a general view. And then as select start from, and you will take a mapping from BigQuery public data, and then that table name, that data set, and the table name. Now, if I will create it, I have already created that. You just have to run that, and you have the view created. Now, if I have to run like that, I can do that. And you see, now you can create a view. You don't have to go every time here and drag and drop or click here in BigQuery public data set. You have your own view for your analysis. And If you want to explore furthermore, you can click on to explore data. It will take you to the data studio, and you can analyze data. You can business users can see, visualize the data, what is going on here. So yeah, I mean, the next part which comes here is a machine learning component. And I want to mention here is that BigQuery, why is so important here, I mean, is useful is within a BigQuery, you can call your machine learning models in your SQL query. So that is quite exciting. So next part, Naresh is going to explain. And meanwhile, I request you all, if you have any questions, please put that in the chat window, and later on we will answer those in a sequence. Yeah.
Okay, guys. So I have received few questions, Deepraj, and I have few people, in fact, appreciating how you are being able to complete the entire screen, the UI piece of BigQuery. I really appreciate it, Deepraj. So the first question, Deepraj, is can we write stored procedures in BigQuery?
Yes, absolutely. We can do that.
Okay, so the answer is yes. You can write stored procs in BigQuery, and you would use the same statement what you have in Oracle or a Teradata database. You can do that. Thank you, Deep, for answering that. Next question is, can I write user-defined functions in BigQuery?
User-defined functions, definitely you can do that.
Okay, so yes, we can write user-defined functions in BigQuery as well, and they can be used. Thank you, Deepraj. Second, the next list is, can I write a lot of SQL related things like partition, indexes, and how is it taken care of?
Yeah, so let me tell you one thing here is that in BigQuery, I don't think there is a use of indexing as much, is because you consider the BigQuery as a columnar database. Okay, so whenever your data is coming, that is separating out into columns. Okay, so first of all, BigQuery is not relying on indexing. And second question was, Naresh, about I forgot the second question. First is the index, and other one was,
yeah, can I write partition by and all the other SQL things which we can do on any other database?
Exactly. So partition by is a feature suggested by BigQuery, and that is kind of that was a very useful component when for query execution in big data also, and that is here also in BigQuery. You can do partition by. The only thing is, I want to add one more thing is that if you want to do clustering, then make sure that you have a partition in that table. Yes.
Good. Thank you. So Deepraj, one last question, and I think we have like 25 questions already on the list. So let me just ask one of them, which is very interesting. Why do I use BigQuery over Oracle or Teradata?
Okay, awesome. So see, a very basic starting for Oracle, or I would say, for example, Oracle, you mostly define you are restricted mostly to GB of data. Got it? But in BigQuery, it's a kind of petabyte. So I don't think there's any comparison between Oracle and BigQuery here. And if you go into the other component is, if your Oracle is on-prem, you are working on on-prem, then it's a burden, is it? You need to do vertical scaling. I don't think that is a wise choice. And here in BigQuery, you don't have to worry about anything. It's kind of a scalable. You run your query, you don't care about what is going on behind in terms of resources. So that is major changes here. And other thing is, I as per my experience, I have never seen in BigQuery where I can run machine learning model. So I have a data in the same environment, and in the same screen I can run the machine learning model, or I can go and explore the data. So there are many points. I mean, I will definitely go with BigQuery.
Okay, thank you, Deepraj. And one last question, which probably is applicable for a lot of people over here. So there was one attendee asking, will you be able to provide some sample exercises for us to practice?
Definitely, I will. And I request you to please go with that free sample. And you already have public data available. So just for running select query won't be that difficult, and I'm definitely gonna provide that all help whatever you need.
Wonderful. So the answer is yes, we will be able to provide you with set of exercises, and we have a YouTube channel, as we've said, AI Syndicate. Please, I mean, Ishmeet is going to discuss about that, but let's talk about that YouTube channel, which is going to help you gain expertise. And think about this, guys. This is free, right? Thank you, Deepraj, for this. And let me pick back on the question. Can you put on the machine learning SQL, Deepraj, please? So, so I mean, Deepraj, can you put on the SQL statements for machine learning?
Sorry about that.
Okay, so let me go back to the question on why BigQuery, right? So I understand that the attendees who have joined us, like Kuldeep, Ekjot, Pinky, Renu, Ramesh, Tukaram, Sudhir, Sheetal, everybody, Umesh, right? So all these people, they are mostly around databases and on-prem traditional data warehouses. But if I were you and knowing BigQuery as a Google's product, I would ask more questions beyond what I already know of a database. Think about that. BigQuery is in the market for 10 years. Most likely it will have everything what an existing database will have. But what is it that makes it different? What is it which makes it really on top of the competitors? And that is the ability to write machine learning in SQL statements. Its ability to scale it up on demand and scale down when it's not required. Its ability to provide users with lightning fast data access methods and be able to ingest streaming data, be able to stream batch data at high speed, high volumes. And talking about streaming and ingestion, that is a topic of our next week webinar. At the same time, I'll share you the link in which we are going to discuss how, what, and where of batch and streaming. And again, the stream you are going to see again and again over next few weeks on Saturdays. So Deepraj, what I want you to do is, can you expand this machine learning model, a SQL statement, go to format, Word, a font, and then make it like 18. Okay. All right. So I'm not going to show you machine learning as a statement right now, but what I'm going to show you is a technique to write a sample machine learning. Now, before I start, I'm sure that most of you who have joined may not be into machine learning as deep. And if you are, then think about how you can write machine learning on SQL statements. BigQuery inherently supports SQL-based machine learning, and it can have packages from scikit-learn. It can have packages from TensorFlow, time series models, ARIMA, and whatever you have looked at in machine learning. Now, today, this is a sample on ARIMA, which is autoregressive integrated moving average machine learning model. Let's see how to write ARIMA. ARIMA is basically a time series model which will predict the number of confirmed COVID cases in US in the next 7 days, 10 days, 15 days. And please understand that it just takes care of the expert extrapolation of statistical models. Now think about this. Here on the first statement, it says create or replace model. Remember how you create views, how you create tables, create or replace stored procs, create or replace tables. Similarly, you will say create or replace model, and by default, it will understand it being a machine learning model. In the options section, which is the second list, is model type, which is ARIMA. ARIMA is, again, as I said, it's autoregressive integrated moving average. Time series data column is confirmed cases. I want to predict confirmed cases, and then time series timestamp column is date. That is the column on which I would like to base my machine learning model on. Then the select statement, what you're seeing is any select statement from any SQL database. So select date, sum of confirmed cases as confirmed underscore cases from the table, which Deepraj has been using it throughout, which is a filter on US. I want to predict only on US. You can change the country or region over here. And then group by date, order by date. Group by is important because you used an aggregate function. At the end of the day, look at the simplicity. And this is why, there was a question, why would I use BigQuery? This is why you would use BigQuery, because it simplifies a complex task as complex as writing an ARIMA model. And finally, in order to get predictions, you will still use a select statement. Think about a complex problem of machine learning fit into a SQL kind of a language. And that, from my perspective, from our team AI Syndicate perspective, is the selling piece of BigQuery. In the coming months, BigQuery from Google, and why I'm saying Google, you can look me up on the internet like LinkedIn, and you will find out why I'm talking about Google. But in the coming months, Google is planning to release TensorFlow as a SQL statement for you in BigQuery. And I think that may not have any competition in near future. Again, as AI Syndicate, we are technology agnostic, be it Google, Azure, AWS, or even IBM or any other cloud. We focus on all of them equally. So with that said, think about that. In 30 minutes, 35 minutes, we showed you how to access BigQuery without any credit card. And again, understand that it's not any kind of a hack or anything. It is done by Google, provided by Google. And then we looked at some data. Deepraj created a view and we queried on view. Now I'm showing you machine learning models. How about visualization? How can I complete the cake? How can I have the icing on the cake with visualization? And that is where Ishmeet is going to come in. So Ishmeet, by the way, any questions? Ishmeet, please get ready. I'm going to make you a presenter right now. So any questions, guys?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay, I have a question here. So can feature engineering be done on BigQuery? Yes. Feature engineering is a big component of BigQuery. And the best thing about this is feature engineering can be done using SQL statements. Think about that, and we will probably do a session on this. Another question is, how do I store values in BigQuery? You can store, I understand from values you mean predictions. So you can store predictions in BigQuery as if you are storing it in a table. Next question is, can we do an online inference rather than a batch inference from a machine learning model perspective? Yes, you can do an online inference, but for that you would need to use AI platform in Google. And by the way, Ishmeet is a master of AI platform, and we probably would think of another webinar in which we'll show you AI platform capabilities. But the short answer is yes. Next question. How is BigQuery different from Redshift and Azure Synapse? It's a very interesting question and it calls for a webinar in itself, but I'll try to answer. So BigQuery and Azure Synapse and Redshift are competitors and they compete on the same space, which is the data warehousing space. But BigQuery, obviously you saw the machine learning model, which was a SQL statement, is the differentiator. And one of the most important points, which I also want to touch base on, is the ability to process petabytes of data in seconds. And Ishmeet, Deepraj have implemented multiple projects on the same, processing petabytes of data within no time. So I guess that's pretty much it from a questions perspective. We are getting a lot. Keep them coming. Ishmeet, go ahead.
Thank you, Naresh. So now we're about to get started with one of the other products, which comes in integration with Google BigQuery. So BigQuery is an analytics platform that can be used for not only just querying or looking into the data set, but also in order to visualize the data set along with Data Studio. So we'll go back to one of the other things, probably, with Deep Raj queries that he was trying to execute. There's a direct integration which is available from your BigQuery dashboard only from the query editor. As soon you execute the query, you can actually directly go and visualize the results also in Data Studio. And as Naresh mentioned, we recently completed an engagement where we were trying to query against 42 million records of data, and the results were coming in within 2 to 3 seconds. Like your dashboard was getting loaded there. So that is how powerful BigQuery in the back end is. And Data Studio is a tool on top of that to visualize the data. So this is the dashboard that we have created on the same data set what Deeprad was showing us earlier. And honestly, you might not believe this, but it actually took me 30 minutes, not more than 30 minutes to create this particular dashboard. And the way how I would classify this is it's very easy is because of the templates which are provided to us by Google itself. So I'll get started firstly how to access this. Now to access this, all you need to do is just type in Data Studio and it would automatically take you to the Data Studio page where you would see all of the reports which are created. You want to create a blank report, or even if you want to use any one of the tutorial reports, these are some of the sample dashboards which Google has already provided it to you on how to get started with this. So going back there, you also have the option what I shared with me, what I own, or if anything I have trashed, different data sources that I can connect to, and this is my Explorer menu to get started with. So reports, I'll get started with my dashboard there. So I'll just give you a quickly overview of what this dashboard is doing. I actually used a template, so that's why it made it way more faster for me. And then I knew what exactly I was looking for. In order to go into the development side of it, do you see this tab? Just click on edit, and this will take me to a development side of it. If I want to share it with any of the resources, all I need to do is just click on share, and I just need the person's Gmail ID. That's it. Even if I don't need to add the person to my project, like let's say I want to connect it to my business users, all I need to do is connect them to their Gmail IDs and they would have access to this particular report. There are different themes which have been provided to us by Google. You can just use those and get that deployed on your page. I don't want to mess it up, but probably I'll show you in the end that as soon as I change the theme, automatically the whole theme of the page, what, let me take my chances. There you go. See this. So the whole theme of the page would change whatever my requirement is, but I'll take it back to my regular one because I was liking it. And in addition to this, if I want to make any changes to the layout, I can get it done. I want to add a new page. You simply click on add a new page. You can create more reports to that. You want to create a new chart. You click on it. There are different template charts which are already provided from tree map, bullets, tables. You can actually do integration with your Google Maps also if you have any geolocations out there. In addition to this, you can also apply slice and dice the data using different filters. So I'll give you a quick overview of this. Like as you can see, the data that I'm getting out here is different US states, how many confirmed cases versus how many deaths. This is a trend that I'm seeing out here. If I go inside the view mode, I'm seeing it. This is a cumulative value for all the states and the values which have been adding on daily basis. But I would like to segment this based on a particular state. I want to see the trend of how it's going for a particular state. So what I need to do is very simply, I can just go out here, filter control, just drop it, and this is what we call a data source. So we can have multiple different data sources that I can use in the backend. Now these could be tables which are coming from BigQuery. Right now, like I'm using this table. This could be a view. This could be an output of a stored procedure which is getting stored in another table. This could be an external table, like Hive that we create, where original data set is actually stored in, let's say, your Google Drive, and you have just created a metadata of that in BigQuery, I can actually access that also using these particular data sources. Then I have my dimensions, metrics. Now, for this particular thing, let's say I want to use my state. Give me 1 second. Sorry. View mode. I think it. Okay. Edit. So currently I was using date there. Let me just go back. Let me use a state name here instead. For some reason, it's giving me. Okay, there you go. Sorry, view. So as soon you see, again, I can format it too, but give me 1 second. I think something is going on there. View. Once you click on there, I don't know what went wrong there. I think something in the data set. So I'll need to take a look at the query. So, but what I can do is I can apply the filter out there for a particular state, and I can see the trend of how it's going in on a particular filter across the dashboard. The other advantage, the biggest advantage that you get with Google BigQuery is for every single dashboard or every single widget on that dashboard, I can actually use the data coming in from different widgets, meaning it doesn't have to come from one single source of truth. Meaning this could be coming from a table within BigQuery. This could be coming in from a Google Analytics store. This data could be coming in from a CSV file. So I can integrate all of these things together on a particular dashboard. Now, in order to add a data source, if you would see, these are different data sources which are currently available to which you can connect. And as Naresh mentioned, it's continuously growing. So we'll be able to add more and more data sources going forward. Any questions so far on this?
Yes, Smith, there is a question from somebody known as Asha. So she's asking that how you can get access to Data Studio.
So it's very simple. As I mentioned earlier, you just need to go ahead and go type in Data Studio, and you can register using your Gmail ID. That's it.
Okay. Next question from Ekjot is, how do you share reports or how do you collaborate reports with one another?
So as I mentioned, you just need to click on this share icon, and you can give access to whosoever user, whether it would be a view access or an edit access, like you do it on Google Drive. So this is the best thing about Google. They're trying to keep all of their platform at a similar scale. If you know how to use Gmail, your G Drive, most of the products are actually made based on that. Similarly, you can control the managed screen access out there. The other thing there was, you can actually schedule these reports for email delivery services also, or you can, if you want to embed these reports that you have created into your application, that can also be done. Or if you want to share this as a PDF document also, then you have the option to download this report in a PDF document that you want to present it to your senior management. And whenever you want to refresh this, there's a refresh button right here. Automatically the data set, once it's changed, the data would get refreshed.
I think somebody joined a little late. So team, this is Google's Data Studio, and you can access this by datastudio.google.com, and all you need is a Google ID, and it's free. It's a free product for visualization. So Ishmeet, another question is, can we change the template once it's created?
Absolutely. As I showed you earlier, I have the option here. Let's say I want to make it to this theme. There you go. I want to change it to this particular, let me change it. There you go. So I can change the themes as I wanted on the go, since it's a white background. So that's why we are not able to see much of the changes there. But if I change this, so as you can see, everything is editable. Again, for a particular widget also, you want to go ahead and make some changes, then you can go inside the layout by selecting it. And this particular widget, you can change the style of that as per your requirement.
Wonderful. Ishmeet, next question is, can we integrate machine learning on Data Studio?
Absolutely, you can. See, again, machine learning is also a data set, right? So any data set which is coming in can be visualized using Data Studio. In fact, the engagement that we were talking about, me and Deepraj, we worked on it together, where we integrated the output of machine learning, where the algorithm was getting executed on daily basis. The output of that can be seen on Data Studio.
Wonderful. And last question which we are going to take on this particular screen is, how many types of databases or data sources are supported?
So as I mentioned you earlier, you click on add data. So the typical way they would recommend, I'm so sorry. Typical way they recommend is the way you are creating your reporting is on a OLAP environment. So the recommended way by the Google is that you should ingest the data and put it into BigQuery. But other than that, you can also use your MySQL, Postgre as a data source, on top of which you can create your reports. You can have different data sources, as I mentioned here, from your CSV, BigQuery, Google Analytics, Google Sheets, to cloud storage, different data sources to which you can connect to. So there's a whole lot of big list which is available out here. Most of these I haven't even worked on, but yes, there is a lot of integration which is available. And as we know, Google is increasing. What I heard was they're actually coming out with the integration with SAP also going forward.
Ishmeet, there is another question which we probably need to take because this is very interesting. It is from Umesh B. And the question is, can we use this platform for creating decks like PowerPoints, presentations for any project?
Absolutely, absolutely you can. And as I showed you earlier, there are different pages you can create on this. Like I created a new page. So this is page 1 and page 2. Or if I want to create a duplicate of this page, and then based on that, I would like to edit based on the other requirement. And I can give the individual access. I can give access at an individual page, what is required out there. So there are different ways that can be done. Then can it be exported into PowerPoint and many other format like PDF, I told you earlier. So there are different ways of utilizing it. And again, I just want to call it out. This is still this is one of the products by Google which is still maturing. And the biggest advantage that I have seen, as I mentioned, I have quite a big experience in terms of the analytical side of it, developing the reports, analyzing those results. The biggest advantage that you're getting out there is that Data Studio is getting backed up by BigQuery. You can actually query petabyte of data and view the results in Data Studio at a lightning fast speed. That is one of the biggest advantages that you would see Data Studio versus any of the big names as per the Gartner's report out there on any of the platforms.
Wonderful, Ishmeet. I think that's pretty much it. So let's go to the presentation deck, Ishmeet, if you have it open, or if not, I'll shift it to Deepraj.
Yes, please, if you can just shift it to Deepraj real quick. And I just want to add one thing there. Deepraj, if you can just share your BigQuery screen also.
Yeah, and just share your presentation, Deepraj, please, and present it. Yeah. So thank you, Ishmeet, for doing this. Go back. Yeah. Go to the next one. Go to the next one. Yeah. So thank you, Ishmeet. You want to talk about useful resources?
Absolutely, absolutely, Naresh. So as we mentioned earlier, Google Query is available for free till September of 2020. So please feel free to get your hands dirty on this particular product. It's a great product to be used. You don't need any other languaging. knowledge prior to this. If you know SQL, get started on this. This is a link that we have provided. It's available for free using this link. You can do a practice on the public data sets. In addition, you can also sign up for free on Google GCP platform. They offer $300 credit, and it is amazingly to use because you can use all the services out there using this particular credit. The next thing out there is there a GitHub link also mentioned out there. You can use a lot of things. A lot of codes are available from Google side also that you can practice there. We are, I'll say we are freshers in terms of expanding our knowledge. So please join our Facebook group in terms of explaining. If you have any questions, queries, or any topics you are interested in, please put it out there. We will try to ensure that this is an ongoing activity we are doing for every week. We would keep on coming with those ideas. And these videos would be available going forward on our YouTube channel, which is AI Syndicate. So please like and subscribe. And anything new comes in, just click on the bell icon and you would get a notification of any new findings or any new technology stacks that we are coming up with. One of the other things, again, this is not a promotion, but Quick Labs is a very good tool, very good product out there. You can actually go ahead and practice these exercises. There are a lot of exercises which are available on GCP. And for the month of May, GCP is offering Quick Labs for free. So you still have about a week. Enjoy it, love it, and play around with that.
Wonderful. Ishmeet, there is another question here. How can you ingest data in BigQuery? I guess this question is more for Vinod. Do you want to answer that, ETL guy?
Sure. So there are multiple ways of doing that. You can ingest data using Google's cloud storage. You can import data from your on-prem servers. You can upload your CSVs. You can feed data into BigQuery from anywhere on the world, I would say.
Great. Thank you, Vinod. Ishmeet, please continue.
And just to add what Vinod just mentioned there, next week, that is what we are targeting to answer your question. Because I would actually ask the counter question there, is it a batch data or a real-time streaming? So that is what we are about to cover next week. So please be there. I think we'll be able to, hopefully we'll be able to answer your question in a more detailed way there. So moving on to the next one. So we actually, as we mentioned, we are a group, we are majorly focusing on, ML AI side of it, things, and we are technology agnostic. We are not just restricted to Google. So based on our understanding, we have created a book, and it is available on Amazon and Google's bookstore. If you like it, please take a look at it. And the goal of this book is not for people who are already experts, for the people who are getting started, right? You don't need to know Python. You don't need to know machine learning. If you start looking into it, this is where you can get started in a very, plain English way, not using any hi-fi statistical information out there. How you can get started, the first stepping stone is what we try to ensure to put it in this book. Naresh?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, everybody. So thank you, Ishmeet. So next week, as we already mentioned, we have another webinar, which is coming up next. No, go to the previous slide, Deepraj. Yeah, so just keep it here. So next week, we have a presentation webinar on Google Cloud Platform, batch and streaming data processing. And this will be again at the same time as we had today with a different GoToMeeting link, which we are going to share. We most likely will be using this, but if not, we will let you know. And by the way, there is one more question here, that how can I access Google Cloud Platform's data? Sorry, Azure's or Amazon's data on Google Cloud Platform? The answer is using a service known as Storage Transfer Service. Please understand that you don't have to really move the data from other clouds to Google to get benefit of TensorFlow and other things. But if you have to, you have to use a Google's data storage transfer service, and that service can keep in sync the data in Amazon S3 and Azure data lake buckets or storage places with Google. And again, I don't think so we are in a position to take any more additional questions today, but next week we hopefully will see you for another presentation on ETL, batch and streaming data processing. So please do join us. Until next week, goodbye. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for the time.